Hello, everyone. It's Kene once again. So, I said I will be solving problems, and that's the reason why I've been creating these videos, right? I'm here again with another problem, a maths problem, and let's have a look at it. Okay, so guys, here is the problem. Write a Python program which computes the sum of a given number of numbers anyway. I don't want it to be just integers. A given number of numbers in arithmetic progression. Print appropriate feedback to the console. So the user, what we're asking is that, we should get the input from the user. Write a Python program which accepts and computes, the sum of a given number of numbers. So the user, for example, could provide in arithmetic progression, say 1 and 3 and 5, 7. So it increments by 2, just like that. So can we get the sum of these numbers in arithmetic progression? In other words, it's going to be 1 plus 3 plus 4, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11. That should be, so let's just do this manually. 3, 8, 15, 15 plus 9, 24, 24 plus 11, that should be 35, if I'm correct. 3, 8, 15, 24, 35. So that's the sum of these numbers. But, in maths, there is a formula for this. Something like n over 2. That's what I guess the maths teacher told me. Because not like I have a background in maths, but one less every day. So n over 2 and multiply that by 2 by a, 2 by 2 and a, that's product of 2 and a, and then I will do n minus 1, that's the formula, then multiply that by d. So I like to take them this way. So when I'm done with this, n minus 1 multiplied by d, then I multiply that by 2a, the product by 2a, and finally I'll multiply that by n over 2. So guys, this is the formula that we'll be using. So that we don't do that manually, let's use a formula. So maths guys, I hope I'm getting this right. All right, so now let's see, what do these letters stand for? So we can say that n is the number of numbers. The number of numbers in that sequence. And then the A is the very first element, if we know what it is, first number in the sequence. Then the D is the difference between two successive numbers. So usually, let's say difference between, say, the first number and, the second number and the first number, where B is the second number. In this case, since we know the second number, just something like that. So let's use the formula, guys. N/2. This is the sequence we are using, right? So the N will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 numbers, 6 divided by 2. And then what I get, I'll get 2 multiplied by A. First number is 1. Then afterwards, I will have N minus 1, and N there is 6 minus 1. And the product of that will multiply by D, which is, what's D? So we see 3 minus 1 is 2, 5 minus 3 is 2. So that's the difference. I'll take 2 there. So let's break this down. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 times 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. Then multiplied by, what is N minus 1? N minus 1, let me just put this together. N minus 1 is 5 multiplied by 2. So I'll put these together, right? Then all together here. So in this order, I have 3 multiplied by say 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. 10. Oh, guys, I didn't get this correct. This should be a plus, please. It's plus. 2A plus. All right. You know what I was thinking. Should have plus there. So that should be 2 plus, what is 5 multiplied by 2? And that is 10. 10 plus 2. 10 plus 2 is 12. 12. And then 3 times 12 is 36. I think there's a problem. And 2A is 1 here. 2 times 1 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is the N minus 1. That's 5. And what is D? 3 minus 1 to 5 minus 3 minus 1 to 5 minus 3, 2. Okay, so and 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 7, 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 7, 16, 16 plus 9, 25, and then 25 plus 11, that's 26, I mean 36. Okay, so working with the formula, we arrived at the correct answer. So that's it, guys. You want to get the sum of numbers in arithmetic progression. We use the formula n/2 multiplied by 2a plus n minus 1d. Right. So we are going to write the code for this actually. So the user gives any sequence of numbers in arithmetic progression, and the system Python computes and then gives the results. Okay, so let's start. Get the input from the user. I'll just call this imp. That's the input. Get that input, and we call it enter a group of numbers, a set of numbers in arithmetic progression. Separate with commas. So I'm just going to put here in brackets, separate the numbers. Separate the numbers with commas, right? So that's the instruction we want to leave for the user, right? Okay, so I need to put this inside. So that's what the user is going to see as a prompt. The next thing now is to grab the comma separated values, right? So using the in, we've got that in this variable. And now I want to, just in case a user uses a space after a comma, so something like 3, 5, and say 7, 9. What I want to do first now is to remove the space. And to do that, I'm going to call the replace method. I'm going to call replace method here. Int dot replace. And what do I want to replace in that string? I want to replace comma with space with just commas, nothing more, no space in between. And I can store that again as imp, right? Okay. So having done that, guys, the next step now is to convert those comma separated values to a list, a Python list. That's like a bucket that will hold those values. So to do that, I'm going to call another method. So I'll just say string to list. Never mind my naming choice here. String to list, and I'm going to grab this and split using the split method. So the split method is what you use to convert a string to a list. That's what you can use, right? So what should be used to separate them? The comma. So the numbers between commas are taken as elements for the list we are creating here. Okay. So it's not just the empty string now, it is the int, the string that we got from the user. Right. So now we've got the list. Again, next thing we want to do is to check if a user has imputed a letter or a special character. We don't want the program to crash. That's the thing. So there has to be a way of handling that. So I devised a means. Actually, we're going to be solving this problem in 2 ways. But at the end of the day, I'll tell us which is faster because I tested, to see which is faster of the 2. So I'm going to use my list comprehension. So what I want to do here, this is the idea. Anytime it encounters a non-numeric value, then it should substitute that character with the letter A, so that I can now use that. Like I will now go through the string to look for the letter A. And if I find it anywhere at all, I would give a message to the user, oh, sorry, there is a non-numeric value among the values in your list. So that's something that we want to do. Hope you guys understand. Okay, so I'm going to use a list comprehension. The first method here is to use something called list comprehension. It's to make it to make your code more concise, looking nice. You don't, although you have a for loop, but it doesn't look like the conventional for loop. That's what we use the list comprehension for. Yes, to do things that you ordinarily do with a typical for loop, but everything is done within a pair of square brackets. So let me take this now, new list. So in my new list, I'll get the list comprehension. Now watch, guys, what I'm going to do. I'll create a variable x, then I'll test if guys, x is numeric. If x is numeric, that's a method to check if a value is a numeric one or not. If x is numeric, then x should remain x. Else, I'm going to change that character at that point to a. Great. So that's it. I've tested here. If x is numeric, then x remain a numeric value. But if it is not, then change whatever it is that is not a numeric value to the character a, the letter a. Right? Now it's going to run through. So we're going to create the loop part of our list comprehension. For x in what's that list we created? String to list. So it's going to go through this str to list. Okay, checking. Oh, so there seems to be a problem. If x is numeric, oh, sorry, guys, there's no need for this. So we are already collecting it here. So if x is numeric, x remains x. That is the right way to go about it. You don't have to put it here, like you have in a conventional if-else block, right? So else, which is, guys, if this character that is taken at this point is a numeric value, then it should remain what it is. It should remain as x. But if it is non-numeric, then I ask Python to change it to an A. Then it does that for all the values within that list. So for x in this list, right? So it returns a new list. It returns a new list. So if the user has put F, there will be an A there. If a user has put say the $, it will become an A. That's what we've just done here. And I'm going to now use this, guys. From the list we've got, I'm going to convert it back to a string so that I can use a string method called find to look for A. And if A is present, I'll give a message. There's a problem with that input. But if A isn't present, that means all are numeric characters, numeric values, then we can go on, right, with our program. Okay, so we go on now with it. New, I'll call this new string. Then I'm going to, now opposite of split is join. I'm going to join with no separator, no character. And what do I want to join? All the content of my list, my new list, and store that in this new variable called new string or new string. Okay. Now, next I want to do is to look for A. You know, we converted all non-numeric values to A in our list comprehension. So I'm going to use the find method. It's a method of the string class. If there is a match, if it finds letter A, then it will give us the position. But that's the first occurrence of it. But if it doesn't find that letter or that character we ask that it should look for, then it will return -1. Do you get? So we're checking now. If it doesn't find A, that means it is -1. And if it is -1, based on that outcome, that is, if I get -1, it means that there isn't a letter A. So they are all numeric characters. Then I can go on to add, or I can go on now to find the sum of my of the numbers that I have, you know, that the user imputed. So let's look at it now. If we're going to use an if statement, I should actually indent all this. Oh, goodness. Let me just go to edit and indent selection. Right. So if new string dot find, now we ask that it looks for A. And then if it doesn't find it, that is, the value is -1. It's nowhere. It can't find it at any position. That's why it's going to return -1. Now, if that's -1, then I know that all the elements in that list, all the elements, all the values given are numeric values. So I can go on to do the arithmetic progression and calculation. So I would go ahead now. Let me just get to else. Else, if there is a letter or a special character, and I'm going to print there is a problem. Perhaps you included a non-numeric value. Okay, so that's that. Right, so here now I'm going to write the code using this formula, guys. I'll get my A. What will A be now? I will come back looking at the new list that was generated. I'm going to use the values there. So since I know that, okay, as of this time, at this point, all the values in that list are numeric. So I'll now say new list. The first item in that list by its position, which is 0. You know, the system counts from 0. The first value in that list is at index 0. Then I need the D, which is the difference between, say, the second and the first. So new list at position 1 and new list at position 0. So that's the difference between them. Now what's n? The number, the total number of values. So that can just be obtained by calling the len method, and that counts the number of values in that list. So what's the list? It takes this argument, which is this list. Okay, so I have the variables that we need to compute the sum of numbers in arithmetic progression. So now I'm going to say capital S as the sum, for example, just, S, and then the calculation, n divided by 2 multiplied by 2a, that is 2 multiplied by what's a? So we've got the variable, whatever it is at that first position, 2a. Again, oh, there might be a problem. I didn't mention that, guys. If we get values from inputs, they are returned as strings. So I'll just very quickly cast this to a float, make it a floating point number. So that can now be used for mathematical operations. The same float this, and float this, right? Okay, so 2 multiplied by a plus then n minus 1, the answer multiplied by d. So I will collect this. So the computer does this as a unit, does this and does this. And after everything, I will just, okay, no problem. Computer does this, n minus 1, then multiplies by d, then adds to 2a plus 1. So let me just get this together, right? Okay, so finally, I'm going to give an output. So I'll just say print the sum of your values is, I would like to use the format method. So I'll just give this placeholder dot format. So what's that? That should be capital S, right? Okay, so that's that. Let's see if that works. And I sure hope it does. So I have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 36. So that's correct, guys. That's how you get the sum of numbers in arithmetic progression. Now let's try the other one. What if a user puts something that isn't a numeric value? So 1, 3, C, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay, so we get that message. There is a problem. Perhaps you included a non-numeric value. All right, guys. So this is the first method. Actually, this is the slower of the two. It's the slower of the two. Okay. I'm going to just comment everything here. I don't want to remove 1, 2, 3, and right here. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, so I'm going to get on with the second one very, very quickly this time. So this is the thinking. This is the thinking for this second method. We get the input from the user, the string of values. And instead of using list expressions and all, we are simply going to use regular expressions. So I'm just going to check, are all the values numeric, or is there a dot? So the user can actually still include a floating point value, for example, 4.5. So I'm going to check, are they all numeric values, or do they contain decimal points? Only those two. Anything other than those two, then we cannot proceed. Yeah, that means there's a problem. So we're going to use regular expression. Okay. So I'm going to first import RE. Great. Then come back here, and let me just copy this up to this point, so I don't just repeat. I'm sure you understand what this tries to do. So we get our list. Then from this list, let me create a string from the list. So join. And I want to join this list, the elements of this list. I want to make them all string. Okay, so this str here is the string representation of the elements of this list. So I'm making sure that I have them as separate elements here, and then I'm joining them back to form just one string. Then I need to now compile the criterion, the match criterion, using a regular expression method called compile. So I'll create a pattern, just call it pattern, and I will have regular expression object and proceed with that method called compile. Now, because I don't want repeated escape of characters, I'm just going to have this R. So please, you could read up the use of this R in Python regular expression. So I give the R, then proceed with this. Then, please, guys, what do I want to check? I want to make sure that I have only numeric values. So that would just be this set here, 0 to 9. Or, that is and or a dot. Sorry, it should be within it, and or a dot. Then it should check, more than once. So that's kind of greedy in its search. Then beginning from the start here, that's what this represents, and going from the back, I would give the $sign. So that's what we are going to use, the pattern we're going to use to search. And the next thing now is to create a match object, kind of. So I'll just say match object, see if there's a match, returns an object, and that will be the actual search. it will take two arguments. The first will be the pattern, and the second will be the string that we want to search. So this string here. Okay, so that's it. Right. Then I'm going to make it a Boolean. Make it a Boolean by simply casting it. If it is none, it is false. But if it has something, if there is an object really, then it will be true. So match object as Boolean. So this will be true or false. Now, if it is true, guys, if it is true, that means there are no letters, there are no special characters, just numeric values. But if it comes as false, that means that there is something that is there that should not be there. Okay, I just need numbers and numbers that may or may not have decimal points. All right, so I'm going to now say if as bool, you don't need to put the double equal to true. You don't really need to do that. Or it all depends. So it's either you do this or you just simply put this. It's a Boolean. It's taken to be, checking for a true value. Right. So if as bool, that is if as bool is true, then what should happen? If it comes, guys, please, let's take notes here again. True means all the values are numeric or they have dots. But false means that there is maybe a letter or a special character. So true here, then do something else. I need to print the same thing here. I'm just copy. Where is it? Where is it? There is a problem. There is a problem, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that done, I don't need to repeat this procedure here. So I'm just going to grab this. Just going to grab this. Voila. All right. So if as bool, this should be indented further. Okay, so which list is that? If the match is found, there is no letters or special characters or things like that, I'm going to now use my new list. So let me just copy this. Sorry. I think I should just code this up from the new list, get the new list from here. I don't have to use this. Okay. Trying to see how to do the copy. Okay. So it's even here all the while. Oh, sorry, guys. This is what I need. This string to list, because everything is in order, so I can proceed with string to list. As everything there is numeric. The first value, second value of this, the first value, so second minus first, and then how many elements are in string to list. Great. So I suppose we are done. Let's save and run our program. Try list of values 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. That's 36. But what if I have a letter 1, 3, 5, V, 9, E, 11. There's a problem. You included a non-numeric value. So let's try. What if there is a floating point number, say 3, 1.5, 3.5, 5.5, and 7.5. So you see, it accepts that you can use floating point number. The sum of your values is 18. Right, guys, I hope we learned something, got something from today's lesson. I'll see you in my next video. Right, have a nice day. Bye. Yeah, before I go, I'm going to leave this on my website so you could download it to study it. And you can find it on the site www.thetutoraid.com.ng www.thetutoraid.com.ng. The tutor, then aid, aid.com.ng. That's the website for it. See you guys next time. Bye.